Welcome to the Property Regeneration Podcast. In this podcast, we discuss innovative products and services that meet either local, social, technological, environmental, political, and legal needs within the construction industry or property market. Introducing your host, a property developer and investor, Rachel Gross.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. This week we're continuing our interview with Robert Smallbone on his publication Buy to Let and How to Get Started. So where do you see yourself, in the sense 5 years from now, as a podcast host, as a property investor, and do you have any plans perhaps in the future about writing more books? What are your goals?
To pretty much continue along the same path. The Property Nomads has been going for, again, at the time of recording, the time of publication, about 15 months, 16 months. So our aim is to continue doing what we're doing, continue to add value and excitement through the podcast as well. Every day we learn something different. What Matt and Rachel do in the business is completely different from what I do.
Yeah.
We've all got offsetting qualities, which means we function well as a team. That's really important. There will be a new book out at the start of 2020. I haven't got a date yet, but check in with the podcast, check in with our social medias. It's just a collation of top property tips, essentially, from various people within the industry. So again, check back in with us in due course. There is another one in the pipeline. What else? To continue to source for clients, to continue to take on mentees, grow that arm of the business, whilst exploring more opportunities with potential joint venture partners, and to get that more of a lifestyle balance. As every entrepreneur, and you've probably had the same thing, is when you get involved in something, when you start getting involved in something, you put a lot of time into it, you put a lot of graft into it, and it's all worthwhile. It is worthwhile. Then at some point, and we're all different, depending on our experiences that we've had and experiences that we've won, that we want, we might start to take our foot off the gas a little bit, because it's not always, in my opinion, it's not always about working 14, 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week to then, promote that on social media that you're some sort of hero and you're doing all that. For me, I like a relatively chilled, lifestyle. So the podcast is good fun. Helping people is really good fun. It's extremely valuable as well for everyone involved. Yes. So to continue along that path, to continue to, add to the portfolio, a few a year, nothing major, but to do it for 20, 30, 40 years, and just let it accumulate over time.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add to our discussion that perhaps has been left out in reference to your book, your knowledge in the field, your business, that you believe would be a benefit to those listening in to the show?
Well, the easiest thing to do with the book is to go and buy it. It's on Amazon. Last time I checked in, it was about £10. So relatively small investment there. So go and check it out. Feedback to us, feedback to me. Feedback on Amazon. Go and check out the podcast as well. This podcast is fantastic. I think you've done a really good job building what you've built and will continue to build. And so go and check out the Property Nomads podcast as well. We release every Monday. And really, we all can do it. It's just about that bit of self-confidence. If you do it under that ethical umbrella, there's really no right or wrong. That's important. And you just surround yourself with the good people. The lessons that a lot of people will, and probably the same with yourself as well, Rachel. You get told the same lessons. Surround yourself with the right people. Your net worth is your network, and vice versa. All of these things are so true, and it's really good to learn. It's really good to listen to podcasts. It's really good to read books. That's fantastic. You have to take the action as well. So be pragmatic, be realistic, just crack on, and we're all successful in our own right, and do what works for you and do what you enjoy.
Brilliant. And if people want to follow more of your work, how can they go about that? You mentioned the podcast. How about social media platforms that they can perhaps reach out to you?
Yeah, so the Property Nomads podcast is on Instagram, is on Facebook. That's very easy. They're very easy to follow. If you want to know more about the sourcing side, everything like that, check out Matt McSherry and Rachel Taylor Lawrence on Facebook. They use social media. I'm not a massive person for social media.
So I think that Ma might like it or hate it.
It is. That's why we work well as a team. But, if there's anything you want to know personally from myself, or you're interested in anything that we can offer, if you email me at rob@thepropertynomads.com. So rob@thepropertynomads.com. Email me. That's the easiest way that you'll get in contact with myself, is email. But certainly for Matt and Rachel, to see the sort of projects that we're doing and how we can help international clients, do follow them on social media, because they're a lot more active than myself.
Yeah, for sure. And I see you got a presence on LinkedIn as well, and you recently did a hike, is that right? In Yorkshire?
Oh, that was Matt.
Was that Matt? That's Matt. Okay.
Yeah, that was Matt.
That's something quite interesting.
Yeah, it's
what was that? Was that for charity?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think Matt done it because he wanted to test himself physically.
I see.
The feedback that I've had from him, that he really did enjoy it, and when he does it again, or if he does a different one, then we'll look to do a charity aspect, or he'll look to do a charity aspect for that. But yeah, Matt, and again, there's no real right or wrong way to work. Matt really and Rachel, they really enjoy sharing what they're doing on a day-to-day basis on social media.
Yeah,
and many people do, and I understand that. I think that's fantastic. But for myself, and I'm a very introverted person, I like to keep myself to myself. So I've been a bit hot and cold with social media, but I'm now starting to get into the groove of if you need me, email me.
They say podcast works for the introvert, whereas the social media platforms are more for the extrovert, in terms of putting themselves out there visually and tracking what they're doing on a daily basis. And I think it was Rob Moore who said that YouTube is more for the extrovert, and then podcast is more for the introvert, in terms of trying to market yourself out there.
It's so true, and ultimately there's so many different ways in which you can work. There's so many different methodologies that you can have. I mean, I have 2 books that I'd recommend to anyone that's listening to this. If you've not read these books or got them on Audible, then get them. Number 1 is Focal Point by Brian Tracy. Really, really good book about leverage, using other people's money, knowledge, time, etc. Then the other one is Deep Work by Cal Newport. Incredible book, really, really incredible. And that goes into how it's much better to focus without distraction. Because if you do that, you can get more deep work done, which means you can effectively become more productive. Now, in theory, that's fantastic. And I've been putting these principles in place for the last few weeks, and I'm not perfect, but they're working okay. As you would well know, and I'm sure that everyone listening to this would know, that sometimes in property we kind of get this thing where we need to have our phone on us at all time, because anything can happen, and we want to be ready at the other end of the phone, etc. But I do challenge yourselves and everyone listening that every once in a while, first of all, read the books, but secondly, there is no harm in turning your phone off. There's no harm in putting it on airplane mode, and especially if you're trying to balance a few things like book writing or podcasting or things like that. If you focus on something, you'll achieve it in a much quicker time than if you're thinking you're focused on something. For example, writing a blog. If your phone's off and you can write a blog in an hour, fantastic. If you're writing a blog and you've got your phone on and you get distracted, it takes 21 minutes to refocus anyway.
That's right.
You might find that it takes 4 hours to write the blog. If you've got to do it once a week, 4 hours a week, because you're getting distracted, It might not be a conducive use of time, but if you haven't got any distractions and you can do it in an hour, I always say the same thing. If I'm difficult to get hold of, and sometimes I do it on purpose because of various things that are going on, I need to have focus.
Yes.
If it's that urgent, it's life and death. Someone will find a way to get hold of you.
It's true. It's good advice. Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you on here. I'm sure there's a lot of golden nuggets to take away there. And those listening, please go out and get hold of the book. Add to your knowledge in property. And Mark, hopefully we'll have you back on the show again.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Really appreciate that. And hopefully this has added a significant value to your listeners. And I look forward to having them listen to the Property Nomads podcast as well.
Sure, thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Property Regeneration Podcast. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest, and contact us on contact@propertyregeneration.co.uk for more content and to have your questions answered. Until next time, adopt innovations to accommodate the growing population.